William Wagener. We're doing an interview with Larry Mendoza. Larry, do I have your permission to publish this interview?
Yes, you do.
We're here with Larry because Larry's had a tough divorce and some bad things have happened in his life, and it's made him understand that the system is,
Crooked, corrupt, and needs to be held accountable.
and there's a lack of accountability. Now, I don't know Larry Mendoza. We've just met today for the first time. But he's got a lot of very interesting documents on the state and the county.
Pension funds and the lack of the proving the unfunded liability is truly exists.
But what made you angry about all this, Larry, was getting screwed in your divorce?
Sitting in jail with 7 strikeable charges, told I would do 2 life sentences with no crime committed.
But they're charging you with terrorist acts.
Terrorist threats, 422 PC, which is their standard blanket charge to detain someone, break your will down, take advantage. It's just to gain the upper hand in a divorce is what it is. It's a divorce tactic. It's not unknown. 300 million men go through it. If you look up divorce tactics, it'll come up on how they go about it. Child support, custody battles like we were talking about. It all goes through in a divorce tactic. It's not uncommon.
So Larry did some research because he got real deep down angry. That's what happens when you've been really mauled by the system of just us, meaning JUST, US, just us lawyers and the legal system getting rich off of you.
Well, I paid $10,000 to sit in jail with no restraining order violations. I had to pull the Department of Justice and FBI file to prove that they were never filed by the DA or the courts.
3 months in jail with no real crime committed.
Well, I came back from Morgan Hill, California. I realized that I was being followed by a Santa Barbara police undercover unit. This is prior to my divorce. I'm served papers on January 24th, which my wife had just been at the hotel room an hour prior. And I'm being told that I was banging on the door, allow me in or I'll kill you, or come outside or I'll kill you. She couldn't make up which mind because each document is signed a different way. I ended up being arrested 5 times in 6 months. I'd never been arrested prior. I was 45 years old, a real estate agent, proud father of 2 boys. I thought I was happily married at the time, didn't know different. My father-in-law had just passed away, and I was trying to save things and move to San Jose, California, and get back into real estate. So the arrests were coming. There was a person trying to take a house from me. I was arrested and charged with elder abuse. I was arrested with 7 strikeable 422 PC violations, which are terrorist threats. And it took 9 months to clear all this up. I received a suspended 3-year prison felony sentence. Did probation, no violations. Wasn't allowed to come off probation early so that I could have alcohol. And all that is now that I'm a single man, if you go to dinner and have a glass of wine and you take a date, I could go to prison for 3 years. Nobody wanted to allow me that. We went to court and they actually produced a witness to say that I shouldn't be allowed to have a glass of wine at dinner. It was quite an effort to detain and slow my lifestyle down, which still exists today.
Has alcohol abuse ever been an issue in your life?
No, I haven't had a drink in 4 years until this Friday with my brother. I mean, I can stop today or not. No, we've never had an issue. We don't even drink at home as a married couple.
And why do you think you're getting a divorce? What's happened? Briefly, we don't need all the sordid details.
She received a promotion and her dad was dying, so there was family funds available in there that didn't need to be shared, and it was just her turn to grow on her own, and maybe it was the right thing. I'm not going to say it's not. The style in which it happened, I do not agree with.
Okay, got that. Larry, in your divorce is final, but you're going to try to redo it or something?
Try to have it thrown out as unjust, not legal, not having any...
Did your attorney sell you out in the divorce?
Oh, no doubt. In fact, what's funny is I've interviewed with 3 different attorneys to go back to Santa Barbara court and review the divorce. And all 3 came back and said it was fine, that there was nothing I could do about it. I then met a lady with the first initial K that I think we both are aware of, who had the same attorney tell her hers was fine until she went to Los Angeles and hired a different firm for her child support and her custody battles. So you find out that the attorneys, they don't do this it's not like every person gets a kick down when you're doing these things. They do it as maintaining a way of life, as maintaining their money. This is how their money comes in, and it comes in for you as an attorney, and it comes in for me as an attorney. And you don't have to tell me to protect your case. I do it automatically. And that's what's going on that people don't realize. This is just a way of life. It's the normal act, proper act of an
So
attorney.
it's just us,
Just us lying
not
about
justice.
no, not at all. Justice has nothing to do with this.
It's just us attorneys and lawyers and judges making a fine living off of your problems.
And here's the thing: my wife is not related to the mafia. She is not related to the criminal syndicate in Santa Barbara. She got the benefit of whatever happened to me in Morgan Hill and the Santa Barbara Police Department following me. But I've had phone bills altered. I've had 5,000 texts to myself, from me to me, called shout-outs as if I'm George Lopez, the comedian. There's no diagram. When you look up the little legend on your phone bill, back when they charge you per text message, there's no legend that says shout-out. It's either data, a picture, a JPEG. None of this exists. And you can't get the DA or anyone to look into it. Nobody will investigate anything. Internal Affairs won't do anything.
So basically, we've got a police system that's broken down. We've got a justice system that's just us lawyers profiting from Larry and everybody else's.
I have police officers
problems.
that come to me that say, if we can't review a police officer's actions, what good is the system that we have? But they're not above all this, because that's how we got here today, is talking about the pension fund. And they come to me and say, if a person is going to lie about the pension fund, which is the only major benefit difference for law enforcement, who's going to do the job? Where do we go after that? If it's this bad now, where do we go after that? And that's the real question.
I think it's time for a special grand jury of we the people, formulated by people not connected to the district attorney's office, which is so thoroughly corrupt. It was corrupt under Tom Sneddon, Ron Zonin, Gordy Auchincloss, that did the manufactured falsification, the inquisition of the Michael Jackson case. They forced Slick Gardner to plead guilty because he was trying to save 100 horses, and they charged him with animal abuse of 100 horses, which is so ridiculous. If you know Slick Gardner, it's insane. And this is what goes on day in and day out in our county of Santa Barbara. So you went through some of this injustice, and you didn't really care about the justice system till...
Well, I've always cared about it, but it's like you say, until it lands in your lap, nobody's doing anything. But right now, we've got Wall Street, we've got pension funds, we've got divorces, we've got child support, we've got child custody. If you're a female in Santa Barbara and you're going against a heavy hitter, your husband, who's connected, if you don't like the ruling, ma'am, we can always relook at child support and child custody. Which would you rather do? Take today's terms or take your chances coming back in front of me? And they stop right there. And that is just happening way too much.
Yeah, and I've seen it up in San Jose, which is Santa Clara County, where they arrest both parents, and then they say, now either you plead guilty today and take the deal, or we're going to keep you in jail, ma'am,
Right.
until your jury trial. It'll be about 45, 60 days from now, and maybe we'll get you to waive time, and it'll be 90 days. Meanwhile, we'll have CPS take your children.
And where do you think
And
our
then-
public defender came from? Santa Clara. I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce his name. Greg P is how I'm going to say it.
Greg, whatever. But I mean, the system is so thoroughly corrupt. And I was up there on William Christopher's case, who spent 6 years in jail and never had a trial. He never had a bench trial, never had a jury trial. He had no trial at all. He had 2 preliminary hearings, and the first one proved he was innocent, so they threw it out, and they had another one and started all over, except now he didn't have any money left to hire a private attorney, and he ended up 6+ years incarcerated for no crime at all. And they would have sent him away to Patton State Mental Hospital had I not investigated and got a jailhouse interview and talked to attorneys and proved that the court doctored the court's own records so they could hide the truth and keep him locked up. And while I was waiting for his case to come up, I went over and watched a black, she just happened to be a black woman judge, and she literally said to these women and men coming in, if you don't take the plea deal, if you take the plea deal, you're going to be on probation 3 years, you're going to pay a $1,500 fine plus this and that and the other miscellaneous fees, and you'll be out today and you'll be home with your kids. If you don't take it, you're going to sit in jail for 45 to 60 days. We'll give you a jury trial. We picked your jury. We're going to give you a public defender who's going to waive your jury trial, and then you're going to be right back in front of me. And I'm thinking,
Let's review.
this is like Russia. This is Soviet Union.